Today's recipe is going to be a little different, as you can tell by my lack of hot plate and pan. I am actually making some brownies today. I'm making a dessert instead of a meal. And it's going to be dark chocolate, peanut butter, black bean, gluten-free brownies. That's a mouthful, but I actually had to make 2 batches. So this is my second batch that I've already got mixed up. Most people use a food processor or a blender for this, but both my food processor and my blender are kind of small. So instead of using those, I actually just had 2 cans of rinsed and drained black beans that I mashed together with a potato masher. And then I added 1 cup of flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And then after all that was combined with 1/3 cup of coconut oil and a 1/2 cup of maple syrup, I added in 2 bars of dairy-free dark chocolate. I usually just add 1, or I don't add any at all, but since this is a double batch, it has 2 bars of chocolate that have been chopped up into big chunks and then mixed into the batter. Now that I'm making my second batch, I need to reheat my oven. So at the beginning of this recipe, you need to preheat your oven for 350 degrees. And since my oven is a tabletop oven, and it gets really hot, and it cooks like an induction cooktop again, like an induction oven, it will only take about 20 minutes to make these brownies. But when you make these brownies, it's the same rule as cakes. You pull a toothpick out of it, and if it comes out clean, then it's done. And for the first burst of this recipe, we have our mix, our brownie mix that we're going to put into our pan. And I'm going to show you that real quick. Now that I've got my brownie in the pan, I've got it in a 7x11 pan because that's what fits in my tabletop oven. I have a metal pan that I sprayed with cooking spray that I'm going to put in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. And then when it comes out, we're going to let it cool for about 10-15 minutes, and then we're going to add all the toppings on it. So this has chocolate chunks in it, and it's about to go in the oven, so it's going to be kind of gooey. So when you take it out, be careful, and if you're going to transfer it to a different plate like I did for my first round, because my first pan of brownies kind of broke up a little bit because they were so gooey and they tasted so good. So I'm going to put these in the oven, and then I'm going to show you how I make my peanut butter topping and my dark chocolate covering that I'm going to put on top of the peanut butter. So let's put this in the oven. Now that I've got my peanut butter and spread on my other brownie, I am going to make a second batch of peanut butter topping for these brownies that are in the oven. And this peanut butter topping has 4 tablespoons of peanut butter, 2 tablespoons of dairy-free vegan butter, and about 1/8 teaspoon of salt. And since the brownies and the dark chocolate that I'm going to be pouring over this is going to be both sweet, we're going to have a little bit of saltiness in the peanut butter to kind of cut through the sweet and kind of even it out. So what you're going to do is you're going to put this in the microwave for about 20 seconds until it's all melted together and mixed together. My first round, it only took the first round of 20 seconds, but I ran out of peanut butter and I had to use a different container. So this might take more than 1 round of 20 seconds for it to melt. Just if it doesn't melt after 20 seconds, you just do 20 seconds in the microwave, you mix 20 seconds in the microwave, and you mix until it gets to like a consistency of like a drizzle, and then you'll be done with the peanut butter. So I'm going to put this in the microwave, and then I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. See, I just took my peanut butter out of the microwave, and it's still a bit chunky, and some parts of it are still runny with the butter. So I'm going to put it in for another 20 seconds, and then I'm going to take it out, and then I'm going to stir it again and see if it's all combined and melted. I've taken my peanut butter out for my second round in the microwave, and now it's the consistency that I'd like. I'm going to grab a spoon, and I'm going to show you the consistency. See how it's runny, but it's still kind of thick? And there's got no lumps in it, it's all mixed. Okay. Now that we've got our peanut butter made, that's going to go on top of our brownies, we're going to make our dark chocolate fudge. And I have to apologize for the swiftness of this video. I couldn't film yesterday because of personal circumstances. And I have to actually make these before I run to work because I'm giving them as a present to the people I work with. So I'm going to make these. It's going to be on a more expedited time frame today, and it's going to be more of a quick video. And I'm not going to show as much. I did promise a video, so I'm making a video. But I do apologize for it being so expedited and me not quite showing so much. When I do get my tripod, I will actually do this recipe again, and I will go more in detail with it about each part of the recipe and the brownies and all the toppings that I put on it when I get a tripod and I have less personal stuff going on. So the peanut butter is done. Let's get to the dark chocolate fudge. Now, I have not been able to put the dark chocolate fudge on my first batch of brownies yet because they're still cooling with the peanut butter on top. So I quickly made this fudge. It's got a half cup, it's got a third of a cup of maple syrup, a fourth of a cup of coconut oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and an eighth of a teaspoon of salt, and 3 tablespoons of special dark chocolate cocoa powder. And after I melted down the coconut oil and I mixed in the maple syrup, I just had to stir it. I didn't have to repeatedly put it in the microwave because as long as the coconut oil was warm and it was mixed in, it became the sauce I needed. So my dark chocolate is done. In just a minute, I'm going to bring my brownies back out from them being cool, and I'm going to put my dark chocolate on them, and then I'm going to cut them, and I'm going to let you see what I'm done. This is my first batch of brownies that I had made. I made them and I flipped them over into this plate so I could bring them to work and serve them. And I put my melted peanut butter from my first round on top. And now that the peanut butter and the brownies have cooled, I'm going to add the chocolate fudge on top. And I suggest you put these in the ice box or a freezer before you serve them to help them firm up a little bit, and it'll keep the sorry, I'm stirring in the chocolate. It'll keep everything from drying out and getting mushy and all of that good stuff. But I'm going to put the chocolate on these brownies, and then I'm going to cut them up, and you'll be able to see when I'm done. Now that I've got the chocolate on the brownies, I'm actually going to put this in my freezer for about 20 minutes, half an hour, while I take care of the other batch of brownies that are in the oven. And I'm going to wait for these to harden up, and then I'm going to cut them and put them in a tin to give them as a gift at work, which work is in a few hours, so I have to hurry. But I'll have these cut up in just a minute.